One more time. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Skip, aka Skip and Tosh here of Thinking Critical. We got my man Dylan here from the Real Comic Book Gamer. Go ahead and say what's up to the people, Dylan.
How's it going, everyone?
Yo, yo, yo. And by the description, you already know what we're here to talk about. For anybody that was wondering, when is Thinking Critical going to get into show reviews? When is Thinking Critical going to get into movie reviews? We're cracking the ice right here. Couldn't have a better guest to help me spark this whole venture off than my man Dylan. And Dylan, so just so people who have been watching, obviously comic book aficionados on Thinking Critical YouTube channel, where majority of our videos, you'll catch Wes on there, who's the main host, holding down all the comic book reviews and comic book discussion. But you've been on the comic book aficionados before, and what is some of your other background just doing media and stuff on Twitch and YouTube?
Mainly comics and then video games. That's where my name come from. Superman's my favorite fictional character of all time. I've been a huge Star Wars fan for my whole life, so that's mainly what I cover. Is just comic book and video games, and then Star Wars, and then in comic book video games. That's just where it goes. And yeah, I've been on aficionados a lot. It's a lot of fun, and me and Wes have been talking about Star Wars recently in a couple videos. And yeah, it's just my background.
Absolutely, man. Well, I pledge that we're gonna get Wes on here one of these days. He's way over in the Philippines, so you and me, our time zones are like, bam,
Yeah.
they're right there. And this guy Wes, he's probably he's a military guy. He probably sleeps for 30 seconds and then stays up for 23 hours and a half just doing work. But in memory of you, because or in honor of you, because you said Superman is your favorite fictional character, I'm gonna throw up this legion of superheroes up over to the camera ring that I got over here. That one's for you, my friend.
Nice.
So
Got the flight ring.
got the flight ring, and then of course all day today I was wearing my Blue Lantern, my Lantern of Hope ring. I'll go ahead and flash that to my main man Dylan right there. But so yeah, if you guys want to get more of Dylan's content, make sure you check out the underscore RCBG, the Real Comic Book Gamer on Twitch, and you can catch more of his stuff, and you can watch him go through Jedi Fallen Order, because your boy Kurt, your boy Skip definitely doesn't have the game, and I barely get time to play games, so I'm sure Dylan is just cheering it up. But we all know that we came here to hear us discuss the Mandalorian so far, starting off with episode 1, and really we're not going to give a full run through. Plenty of people doing reviews of it, taking you through the whole thing, spoiler reviews and non-spoiler reviews. Obviously, this is going to include spoilers. Dylan and I are just going to talk about our fave 2 parts of issue 1, 2, and 3. And then to wrap it all up, we're going to talk about 2 things that we would like to see either A, improved or changed or added to the show. But and then you'll kind of see how we feel about it so far. So Dylan, I've been blabbing up a storm, and you are a guest. I'm going to be a good host and ask you first. What was 2 of your favorite parts so far? Starting off with the favorite one from episode 1.
My parts from 2 favorite parts from episode 1 was the opening. I thought they did a great job of establishing the tone and the character that we have here with the Mandalorian, and letting you know that, hey, this is a spaghetti western in space. They did a great job with establishing how the series is going to be, and I loved it, and everything that happened in that cantina was so awesome. To see the type of character that the Mandalorian is, a man of few words. And then my second favorite part would probably be his interactions with IG-11 at the end. That was great when he's there and he's like scoping it out, trying to be all strategical, and then you just see IG-11 in there just like saying, hey, give up the package or die. And he's like this stupid droid. And then their interactions together were great. I also like the fact that he's a man of few words, but around a droid, it doesn't matter. He has no persona to keep up or anything. So he's like constantly talking to the droid, like yelling at it. And those are my favorite parts of the episode. It was just great.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely took one of mine, and that was kind of the establishing shots, especially how they established the setting. Like letting actually my favorite 2 parts, period of the whole episode. I mean, or of the whole series, but definitely the first episode was establishing the world with the settings, obviously the cantina, and even a lot of the exterior shots and stuff like that we got, and especially the music. I like. I Obviously Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau as well, kind of spearheading this thing together, made it a point to make us feel like we were in there, not only with the visuals and the sets, but also the music. Like Dylan, how did they perfectly capture spaghetti western, almost Ennio, is it Ennio Maricone, or the dude that does all those, like, all
The
those
Man
old
with No
west.
Name trilogy, yeah.
Yeah, dude, how did they do that but make it space sounds? How?
I don't know, but they nailed it perfectly. I guess they've watched it a lot and they like took notes and figured it out and they did it. It was great. And this is what a lot of people were talking about for if they did which they did with the Han Solo movie, but a lot of people wanted that to be a space western, or the Boba Fett movie from Josh Trank that we were going to get before it was canceled. And at least now we're finally getting a space western. This is what a lot of fans wanted, myself included. Now we're getting it and it's great.
I like it. It blew me away that they hit the nail on the hard, hit the nail on the head hard, like immediately with that. So, those are my favorite two things, and yeah, I definitely enjoy how he's a man of few words. Reminded me very, very much of the. I don't know if you read any of the Boba Fett, like the current in canon, Boba Fett comic through Marvel. Did you read any of that?
You mean the one shot that they had?
It was a one shot.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
there's a one shot, and then he also appeared a little bit in Jason Aaron's run. But yeah, there's that one shot that was beautiful, by the way. The art in that was so good. But yeah, where he goes in that town, he's hunting that bounty. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
It did remind me of that a lot.
Dude, I loved that comic. And for anyone who hasn't read that comic, it's totally worth it. The Boba Fett one shot through Marvel, darn good comic. And same thing, like Boba Fett. I don't think Boba Fett said more than 3 words through that whole comic, and it was awesome. Anyway, okay, so that kind of wraps up episode 1, how we both felt about it. Now, episode 2, obviously, since this is spoilers, the big reveal at the end that, you know what? I'm disrespectful. I feel so disrespectful right now. How do I let us go on to episode 2 without talking about Werner Herzog?
That dude killed it.
Dude, Werner Herzog. For people that are familiar with Werner Herzog, you would know that he is a very popular director, especially over some overseas films, more indie films and stuff like that. He is known to be a crazy character. I heard one story about how he was getting interviewed and like some people were shooting or something like that, and he literally got shot in his arm and just looked down, and was like, my shirt or something ridiculous like that, and I'm like, what? So yeah, Dylan, it sounds like you were a fan of Werner Herzog, being the person who was putting the call out for the bounty.
Oh yeah, he did a great job. I really liked his character, and it was all because of him. It was all Warner, and it was nice to see something other than like American or British accent wise. So
Mm-hmm.
see some more variety there, because like generally everyone's either American or British, and that's it. But yeah, he did a good job of like having this sort of like creepy aura to him, the way he talked, and he was very much straight to the point about everything and giving as little details as possible. Yeah, he did. He was cool. He was definitely a standout from the episodes he's in.
And his cadence too. We have to talk about the bounty, and you must, like, I was just like, oh, you're giving me everything I need right now, Werner Herzog. I love you, man. All right, so that kind of concludes, some of our initial feelings of episode 1. But then with the baby Yoda being the bounty, that was the big reveal at the end of episode 1 that sent the Twitter sphere and the Star Wars sphere into a frenzy. We go over into episode 2, Dylan. What were some of your favorite parts of episode number 2?
Disintegrating Jawas was pretty great, because the Jawas are kind of like just pricks to everyone, and to finally see them get some justice was great. When he's just like, and we finally get why Vader said no disintegrations to Boba Fett. Before we thought it was just his flamethrower, but no, it's actually that rifle. That was sick too, when he was loading it in, and it's like he had to load one shot at a time. That was so cool, and just taking them out. And I really loved that part. That was so cool. And also seeing him fail, which is sort of a resonating theme throughout the entire show so far, is he tries to muscle his way through multiple situations and fails and has to get bailed out by other people. I like that. He's still a badass. He still,
Right.
can do his thing, but he's not unstoppable. I like seeing that. To where with the Jawas, he's like, I'm just gonna kill them all and take my stuff back. But it's like, no, you gotta play the game. And I like that. And I really liked his relationship with Keel. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the I Have Spoken guy, Nick Nolte.
Right.
I
Right.
really liked his relationship with him and seeing that mutual respect, and how he's like, I could use a crew member. I like that. That was
Yeah.
probably my second favorite part of the episode, was their just overall relationship and mutual respect, and how he went back to him for help, and he was fine with helping him. And yeah, it was a great episode.
Dude, that was so good, and I loved and you know, thank you for calling out that it was Nick Nolte playing that character, because something that I really enjoyed from the first episode, and I forgot to mention this too, that was Taika Waititi playing that droid. Was it not?
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was watching recently a thing, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, because but I believe it was exactly that, and they were talking about it, and you can hear it in the cadence too, even with Taika Waititi's very, you know, very thick New Zealand accent, but it made perfect sense with him playing. Oh, how am I forgetting the little character? Was it Org? What
Korg,
was that character?
Korg.
Korg Thor Ragnarok, and of course him being a part of the Disney family and knowing Jon Favreau, you know, who was also part of the Marvel family. Yeah, Taika Waititi, and I'm gonna fact check that, or even if you want to fact check that as I'm speaking on my favorite parts. But Nick Nolte coming in and playing that character was awesome. It made me feel like this feels very much like the OG trilogy, where, you know, obviously there is a lot of digital effects, but with them mimicking and making them feel more like they are the practical effects, and the Jim Henson-esque puppeteering and whatnot that we got from the OG trilogy, that was perfect. And I really, really liked how when Nick Nolte's character, like, you know, was talking to Boba Fett, letting him know, or not Boba Fett, but talking to the Mandalorian and letting him know, like, hey, you know, like, this is why, you know, I helped everybody. This is why I'm gonna help you, and this is my claim in it. And I want, you know, I want the creature that you ride in on. I want the creature, and you know, he was pretty much like, I have spoken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you take this deal or you take no deal at all, homeboy. And I think what that did is it made the Mandalorian respect that character even more, even though he had already bailed him out. It really, really forged a respect and a bond that I thought was really, really cool. Of course, the other part of episode number two, and I did watch them all in one go, so I apologize if some of them blend together. But Baby Yoda raising the creature and bailing out the Mandalorian, I was like,
Always sitting there with his knife, just ready to die.
oh my god! Yeah, he pretty much is like, and I like that part too, because it very, again, you know, with them taking not only beats from spaghetti westerns, but spaghetti westerns, and how they had taken beats from Akira Kurosawa's, you know, samurai movies, for him to basically, like a samurai getting ready to die, like, all right, like, if I'm going out, I'm going out with my blade up, and my Bushido teaches, you know, teaches me and reminds me to keep my blade forward. And he had it forward, like, if I have any chance at all, this thing is gonna have to run into it, but he's gonna run into me too. And then Baby Yoda, and I was just like, dog, how are you guys nailing this so good right now? It was incredible. I freaked out, and then I also liked how he only had so much power, so he's like, like,
Yeah, I
and then
passed
passed out. I thought that was awesome. So, yeah, episode two definitely upped the ante, you know, and that was, anytime you have something new, right, Dylan? You're always worried about the sophomore slump. If a new run, a new series comes out from a comic book, and you know, and your writer and the artist nail issue number one, you're always like, please don't let the sophomore slump happen to issue number two. And dog, I can faithfully say I don't feel like that was the case at all. They knocked it out the park.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's gotten better with each episode so far.
Absolutely, because then we go over to episode number three naturally, and here we are, episode number three. Oh my gosh! Like, I'll start this one off. That big freaking battle, dude. The big shootout. I was like, I figured they probably would have saved that for like a quote unquote mid season finale, you know. But my mind, I'm so brainwashed off of, you know, these CW shows and mid season finales and all that stuff. But dude, they did not pull back. Like, did you expect that to happen?
No, not like that. Yeah, that soon. I agree. I thought they're gonna wait, keep things a bit more grounded for a little bit, but no, they went straight into it. I loved it.
Dude, it was so awesome just to see all the different weaponry and everybody running like hell, because we're like, there was no, they did not relent. They were just firing stuff left and right. And then of course the other thing, and this was, you know, this was kind of like a overarching theme. We had been seeing this happen throughout, right? Because as soon as the Mandalorian, you know, got the bounty, and what was the droid's name that Taika Waititi played?
IG-11.
IG-11. Well, IG-11 is like, yeah, they said we can bring it in warm, but we can bring it in cold, and he was gonna do it. Remember the Mandalorian? Like, I didn't even see him move his arm. I didn't even see his cape shift. He just blasted the droid in the back of the head. But his humanity is starting to play on him. His conscious is starting to play in, and whereas originally he went to Carl Weathers' character, and I forgot his character's name, the dude that was like telling him about the smaller bounties.
Yeah,
I
Apollo
forgot
Creed.
it. Yeah, oh yeah, let's just call him Apollo Creed. That's what it is, right? So Apollo Creed in space was there, and Carl Weathers' character was, had introduced him to the idea of the bigger bounty to Werner Herzog's character, but yo, straight up, like he got the bounty and he was conflicted about should I turn this in? Like one, I'm not gonna kill it. He made that clear. Two, should I even turn it in at all? And that is ultimately, kind of what comes to a head in episode 3. Dylan, I know I took some of the bigger ones, man. I'm so sorry, but what were some of your favorite parts of episode 3?
My favorite part was that whole infiltration sequence where he breaks in to save Baby Yoda. It's so sick. He's just merciless on those stormtroopers, just taking them all out and shooting his way out. I love that so much. And also seeing his, like you were talking about, his crisis of conscience, where he was thinking about, his decisions and what Baby Yoda had done for him. Because I felt like when he shot IG-11, it was more of, because remember when Werner Herzog first talked to him, I believe he told him that he got more money if he brought him in alive than if he brought him in dead. And I think that's why he initially shot him with IG-11, because of that. And then later it was more of like he had bonded with him because he saved his life. And I felt like it was more of like that. And that's where he's like, I can't do this. I felt like that was kind of his Mandalorian aspect coming out, where he's like, he saved my life. I can't just turn him over and then leave him there to whatever's happening to him. And so I like that, seeing that aspect of him going back and be like, this isn't right. This is like against what I believe in, even though I'm a bounty hunter. And yeah, that whole infiltration sequence and then leading into the big shootout that you were talking about was just so awesome and exactly what I wanted from this show. And the thing that's really cool is the lady that directed this is directing every episode of the Obi-Wan show. And so this has me so excited for the Obi-Wan show because this was my favorite episode so far. Because prior to this, I was like, I never heard of this lady before. I had no clue how she would do. This episode was awesome. Got me so stoked for the Obi-Wan show.
Dude, this show has been so awesome. I almost forgot about the Obi-Wan show, and I still can't believe that Ewan McGregor is coming back, man. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be awesome. I'm over the moon with excitement for that show. So okay, so obviously we've given you our favorite parts of it, and we're thinking critical. We're always thinking critical. YouTube and Twitch, we're always trying to think critically and offer some criticism that can help and make things even better than they are. And it's not that we have to force it. So Dylan, no pressure at all. But if there were two things about this series so far that you either want to see improved or changed to make it better, or if you think what they've been doing so far has been really really good, because I do. B, what would are two things or one thing that you would like to see added to the show?
So one of the things is I don't want this to be another good guy versus the Empire story. We have too many of those, and I don't want to see that. And I could see it easily turning into that right now with what's going on. And I've loved the show so far, but that has me really scared. We don't need another good guy versus the bad guys. Also, it sucks that he's out of the guild. I understand why, but I still want to see him hunt bounties. I want to see him be a bounty hunter. I don't want it to be like, oh, the first episode he hunts one bounty, then for the rest of the entirety of the show he's off being a good guy now, doing the moral right thing. I don't want to see that. I'm hoping that they get him back to being a bounty hunter somehow. But yeah, overall, I'd say like one of my big complaints with the first episode that they fixed was the pacing. I felt the first episode lulled in some places to where episode 2 and 3 didn't, and they got the pacing, like they corrected it. So yeah, overall, it's just mainly there's some things I'm scared about for the future, but right now there's not a whole lot that the show's doing wrong. You were touched upon earlier with the puppeteering and stuff and how the show looks, but that's one thing that I'm really happy about with this compared to the sequel trilogy is the sequel trilogy, everything looks too clean. Like they went back, they're like, oh, we're doing puppets and stuff and not as much CGI, but everything looks way too clean. Nothing looks lived in, nothing looks used, everything looks so brand new. To where in this show, everything looks like used and lived in and like an actual world, like you're actually there in the slums. And I like that. But yeah, I'd just say I'm hoping he's not just an all-out good guy and he's going against the Empire. That's my main concern right now.
Absolutely, I echo that. Like he's a Mandalorian. I wanna see the Mandalorian do his job, and I think it's really cool the reveal that they gave us. And I also thought I heard that they were gonna do like kind of arcs within episodes. So I'm hoping that this whole thing concludes hopefully within the next 2 episodes, and then he goes on to his next thing, because I don't like. I agree with you. I don't want it to be, what do I do with the Baby Yoda for the whole rest of the season? So if he could wrap this part up, that's totally cool. You did it, for A, for the bounty, and then B, because the Baby Yoda ended up saving your life for a life type thing. Cool, resolve that, and then go on to the next thing, because I need to see him hunt. One of the main things that I want to see is I would really really want to see some Sith show up, and I wouldn't even mind that I wouldn't even mind seeing. I want to. Okay, so not from a Jedi, not from a Jedi, not from a Jedi, but I would like to see him get a bounty to hunt a Sith. And I like and I want it to, like, it can even be for someone personal, like a personal thing happen, like, hey, this Sith whoop 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 chop my mama up. You know what I mean? I did what I did. I hustled up some money, and all of my life savings have been for me to, what I'm saying, get this particular specific Sith taken care of. Even if that doesn't happen, I want to see a Sith show up in some way, because that's one of the things. And I'm a fan of the Rule of Two. I understand why it had to happen. It set up some really really awesome things, obviously, for the OG trilogy and even within the prequels. But I really 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 want to see. Like, I want to see one Sith show up, and then from that one Sith, I'm cool. Like, they don't have to do battle, but from that one, if like some others show up and there's like a little group of them, and whatever, just this one is the one that needs to get taken care of. But I don't think there's been an. I'm a fan of the light. I'm a fan of Jedi, but I just think there has been an underrepresented amount of Sith within the movie medium. Obviously, there's plenty of comic books out there. The Darth Maul book, the first rendition that they did, was pretty damn good, and I really enjoyed that. So if we could just get a little more Sith in here, I think that'd be cool. And then if anything else, maybe another thing to change or to add. Yeah, like you said, they already took care of the pacing thing. Yeah, the things look more lived in. They don't look as clean. They do have it at a lower exposure, so things don't look as bright, which I think was another really smart choice as far as cinematography. Man, it
Yeah.
really is difficult to kind of find another thing. I don't have one off the top of my head. You know what? I would say this, and this is one. I'm actually a fan of the length of the episodes. I know a lot of people were expecting longer episodes. Having shorter episodes and being more concise with your storytelling allows you to use your bigger budget and take it farther, and not just have, almost like take your budget, cut it in half, and then be more concise with your story. So I like the approach, but I would really enjoy if we did have at least one episode that maybe was closer to the 45-minute side, and we did get just like a maybe a not that we need a whole lot more action, but just a little bit more kind of medium paced action in there or something like that. That would be something that I wouldn't mind seeing. And I don't need it to be a theme, but just one episode where it is a little bit longer, draw us in a little bit more, and maybe give us some more lore. You can make it interesting exposition. It doesn't even have to be action, because I think they've done a really good job with the action in such short episodes. But give us a little exposition and make it interesting exposition. Maybe fill in some parts of some things that maybe didn't get filled in before, but tie it all in a very creative way. Those would really be my only things that I would like to see added. So yeah. Overall, it sounds like, Dylan, you're doing you're really digging the series so far. If we had to grade it, I'm just gonna let's throw the grades out. But let's do from F to A. Where are you grading episode 1 through 3?
I man, I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, like I struggled to find some things to complain about. 'Cause so far, it's been great. Which I really hope this show doesn't take a nosedive, because that would suck. But right now, I guess it's around like I guess A minus territory. It's really good. Like I'm just having a blast with it. It's nice to just really enjoy Star Wars again. So it's not perfect, but it's really close. It's really good right now. So that like the only thing that really sticks out to me from the show, like scene that I was like, that was kind of stupid, was the shoulder pad scene from the first episode. That was so anticlimactic, all for a shoulder pad. Like they do this
Yeah.
huge montage and everything, and then she brings them out a silver shoulder pad. And I was like, that was kind of a waste of like 10 minutes. But but besides that, like everything's kind of served a purpose and been really well done. And yeah, I'd probably give it an A minus.
Absolutely. I will say, yeah, that was one part of a letdown. I was like, yeah, I think it would have been better if you gave him a toothpick. Like, you're
Yeah,
just gonna give him a
yeah,
shoulder
it's like
pad. I thought she was like forging some sort of weapon that he was gonna
yeah.
have to use, to take out his bounty. But be that as it may, and I really would like to see. I mean, I would probably give it a solid A personally, especially as someone who came out of things, and I haven't been the biggest fan of Force Awakens. I haven't been the biggest fan of The Last Jedi. I did enjoy Rogue One because it did feel more like this, lower exposure, things not as bright as clean for the most part. The only parts that were really clean were the parts where we saw the Empire, which makes sense to the people with the money. And it felt more like the OG trilogy. I wasn't someone who hated Solo so much, but I understand how people felt about it. But I would easily say this is like right underneath Rogue One as my favorite piece of visual media that we've gotten out of Star Wars since it has been purchased by Disney. So I do hope that they continue to go down that route um, as a whole. So thank you for everybody for joining us. And just to shout out some people in the chat, we got CS underscore Semino stating that in episode 3, when he got out of his chair and went back for the kid, not gonna lie, I popped for that. I don't know if he meant I pooped for that. I pooped personally for that. I thought that was awesome. That scene from Werner Herzog, and I think that was it for the most part. So anybody else, if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to join us live on Twitch. I'm gonna be trying to get with Dylan as much as possible and doing these so it doesn't bog either of us down. I'll probably be in groups of 3, and if I have time, I'll pop in for maybe like a 7-minute, like, hey, these are my thoughts or whatnot on the episodes. Being that Wes underscore from underscore TC on Twitter, our man Wes, the main guy, the father, the grandfather of Thinking Critical, he loves Star Wars as well. We're gonna try to construct it to where we can get him on one of these and he can give his thoughts because I thought it was really really excited. Anyway. That is pretty much it, Dylan. Where can people find you?
You can find me at the underscore RCBG on Twitch and Twitter, and then the Real Comic Book Gamer on YouTube.
Awesome. And then I myself, you can find me at Skipintosh on Twitch. You can find me at Skipintosh on Twitter. I do majority of my own content on Twitch. And obviously I am with Wes every Thursday for OTB Outside the Bleed, where we discuss comics and we go beyond the margins of the comics to discuss those. And then obviously on Geekspan every Friday, where we talk about late breaking comic book industry news. Check out Dylan. He will be on More Comic Book Aficionados, which usually happens every Saturday. And then we also have a show on Thinking Critical called the Animanium Hour. Those shows are full panel. You get a lot of different views on comic books, everything from what's going on with the new X-Men Dawn of X series, Absolute Carnage, everything going on, and stuff that's going on with DC too, as soon as they get their acts together. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate you highly, and we will see you all next time.